for the benefit of the public, yes, I know you have 2 titles. What are the titles really, and how did you get them?
One of them was given to me by the chief of our place, my village, Egbagbe, which has become very famous from the 10-kilometer Egbagbe race, which I'm sure you all know about now, because it's on the International Federation, Athletics Federation calendar. And I had facilitated the rural electrification of my village, Egbagbe. This was like so many years ago. And so my chief gave me the title, She Who Brought Us Light, which means Orufoneye of Egbagbe.
Oh my word.
Then the head of the kingdom, the Okumagbe of Agedibude, also gave me another title, which is Ogwenopa of Wepawano.
Wow. What does that mean?
There are about 2 interpretations to that. One is she who is clean, or she who speaks the truth. 2 things I'm told I am, so
Okay.
I thank.
And
Yes,
how does that make you feel?
Very humbled, very humbled.
How many years ago did you get the title?
A few years ago. One was like 3 years ago. The other one was soon after that, about 3 years ago.
Interesting. But before then, let's roll back all the way back. I mean, I call her Auntie Grace because I mean we've had a history together. We're still building memories.
Everybody calls me
Auntie Grace. Let me call her Auntie Grace, like I'm used to calling her. You didn't start off there. You started way back, and we know that you're an NTA family, one of us. They say once an NTA family, always an NTA family.
And a family that I miss very much.
I know, I miss you too. We miss you too. Now, so for starters, you just start off your career with broadcasting, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
How did it all start for you?
I was in the University of Ibadan, and we had a visiting professor from UCLA, the University of California in Los Angeles, and we got talking, and he said, "Didn't I see you on TV last night? I used to act in Wole Soyinka's Orisun Theatre, and I used to act the part of Yemoja. I was always the goddess Yemoja, and he had seen me on TV the night before, WNTV we're talking about. So I said yes. Then he said, would you like to, come for a program in theater arts? We have a very good department of theater arts in the University of California. And I said, oh yes, why not? So he said, okay, I'll send you the forms. Then internet was not as savvy as it is today. So he sent me the forms, I filled them out, and the rest they say is history. So I went to UCLA and I did my MFA in TV, film and TV production. So when I came back home, it was, you didn't need a rocket scientist to tell you that I'll go straight into television.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you study in the university?
I had my first degree in English, and my second degree in film and TV production, and then my third degree was in law from the University of Buckingham in England. And then I was called to the Nigerian bar in 1985.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. So what about your family?
I'm the oldest of 7 children, and you know what that comes with. It comes with a whole lot of responsibilities. But I'm happy because I have very, very good brothers and sisters. They're very loving. We're a very closely knit family. And my dad, whom I miss, like I really miss him because he died so many years ago, but I still miss him, made sure that we all got a good education. At the time they said, oh, don't educate girls, they'll get married and, that's it. And he said, well, this girl wants to study and she's very intelligent, so I will, train her. And my friends remember when, once it's holiday time, I was in Queen's Hall, my dad will come and somebody will say, D34, your daddy is here. Because I was in D34, room D34, and I always remember that with a lot of nostalgia. So I had a very loving dad. My mom is still alive. My mom turned 86 on Easter Sunday, last Easter Sunday. Yeah.
Wow.
So I have a very.
So how was growing up like for you?
Growing up was spare the rod and spoil the child. Yes, I got a bit of the rod if we misbehaved, but a lot of love. A lot of love, which is what I've also, given my kids. I didn't spoil them too much. There was discipline, but there was also a lot of love. And children grow well and adjust very well once you can balance the two.
Okay, so for you, broadcasting, what have you taken from broadcasting?
Let's just say that broadcasting is my first love. Well, I fell in love with broadcasting. If I didn't get into NTA, I probably would have been a teacher. I like to teach. And I still do that now because every time I relate to somebody, I'm always teaching. I just had a bit of that with you. And it's something that I can't get away from, teaching, oh, this is how you place your cutlery, or this is how you sweep, or this is how I'm always teaching. And I mentor young ones as well, so that comes with the territory. But broadcasting for me was a very rewarding experience. It opened a lot of avenues for me to meet people, guests like you're doing now, and it also gave me a lot of insight into what other people are like and what other people do.
In a nutshell, what has it done to you as a person?
Broadcasting, I'm not going to blame broadcasting for me being out there in the media, because when I complain about seeing my pictures in the papers, they tell me that it's because I'm in the media, that you're in the media, so you should get used to it. Now I'm used to it though, but I wasn't. Some years back, I saw it as an invasion of my privacy. I could be the last person to arrive at a function, and photographers would take pictures. The next day, my pictures would be on the front page. And then you will think that I do nothing but go to parties. But I don't mind that. So if you're going to put my picture in the papers, it better be a good one. So if they're taking my pictures, I'll smile for them. So the media has, it is partly responsible for who I am today, a people's person. Because you can't be in the media and not, you can't be in the media and not, be known or seen. Unless, of course, you own a media house, in which case you are top, so you don't get to, appear as much, on the screen. So I guess...
So what was your first assignment as a broadcaster?
My first assignment, I joined NTA in 1978. Maduka, Engineer Vincent Maduka was the DG at the time. He was the first DG of NTA. And Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was the head of state at the time. And I know that they asked that we should create a program that encouraged rural farming, so people could grow tomatoes in their backyards, could grow food in their backyards, so that Nigerians would be self-sufficient in food production. And so Mr. Maduka said, okay, Grace. Then I was heading the programs department. I had just come back from the States. I think I was on level 13. They had not appointed a director, an executive director of programs then at the time. And so I was heading the programs department. And that's how Kokra Dawn, came to be born. We sat down, and I said, okay, I didn't want a name. The leading character, female character, was a woman that was like a mother and who would be able to harness all the things together. And so we wanted a name that was not an Amina coming from the north, or Ngozi, Igbo, or Bimbo, the Yoruba person. So we wanted a name that you couldn't really tell where it came from, so it would be universal. And so I said, okay, use my middle name, Zemaye. And so I gave the leading female character the name Zemaye. And Peter Igo, who was a very good producer, I was asked to write to him to come and take over the production of Kokra Dawn. And so he produced Kokra Dawn and chose Jos as the location, because Jos was quiet, serene, and it was a good location to use. And that's how, So that was one of the highlights of my profession, and probably the first major assignment that I had. And then somewhere down the line, I was asked to model a program after Mind Your Language. And that's when I always remember Olu Jacob with a lot of fondness. Olu and Joke. Olu was the teacher, Joke was one of the students, Madame Kofo was another student, and I made her, she tells everybody that I tied her first Madame Kofo head tie flying, here and there, just to disturb Joke, who was rawly in the program. And that's our second chance, was born, and it was a successful program too until it went out there.
Okay, so apart from these programs you've talked about, were there other things you did like presentation, production, directing, and other key areas?
I presented Feminine Fancies, and I recall that one of my first guests was Onyeka Owino, and we had this rapport because Onyeka is my friend, and we were talking like, it was so easy and it flowed so well. I got a lot of compliments on that because before then, you used to have very stiff, but that was easy, it was nice. So yes, I did some presentation, and then I think one time some newscaster was away sick and they were short of newscasters, and the late Sakafagbo called me up and said, yeah, you have to be on the news tonight. I said, news tonight? I was really petrified. And it's not the same thing talking to a friend in the comfort of your own living room, but you're sitting down thinking that, oh my goodness, this person is looking at me. Oh my goodness, this person is seeing me now. Am I doing it right? I don't know how I went through that, but I did that for a week, thank God. And I went back to behind the scenes. Yeah.
So, do we safely say that you preferred working behind the scene than working in front of the cameras?
Yeah, yes.
With your pretty face and your beautifully crafted
That didn't come into the equation. I just thought of what I did, what I love to do, and what I would rather be doing. And it certainly wasn't sitting in front of the camera talking to anybody. But I guess now it's easier than
those days.
But I don't know if I can sit down and cast the news the way newscasters.
Any particular reason?
Because I'll just be imagining how many people are watching me, and I have to read this the right way. I don't know. They're doing a good job. All the newscasters that we have on air, they're doing a good job.
So when you came into broadcasting and you saw all those things that were like mystical, how did it come across to you as a person?
Nothing was mystical to me.
Okay.
Nothing really was mystical to me because I had an enlightened background, and having done my TV, like I said before, when I was in the University of Ibadan as a student, I was acting in Wole Soyinka's Orisun Theatre. I even did a stage play with Made in Hebrew and Jimmy Sholanke in Dr. Shofola's, Mrs. Shofola, she was a lady, King Emena. King Emena was, I was the mother of the king. Jimmy Sholanke was the king, and that was a stage play. That was really, really awesome. And I probably would have been in Nollywood today if I'd continued in that line. But I think I like working behind the scenes. Okay. I'm working on some movies, for instance, but movies are expensive, and having had the training that I have in production, it has to be well produced for me to be able to put it out there, because I'll be judged by what people see on the screen.
Broadcasting then and broadcasting there, what has changed in your own opinion? I mean, you had experienced it then and you are experiencing it now.
Broadcasting has come a long way. Now you have technology. Technology has moved on fast. We're talking digital now. Before, you used to cut and join. You actually take a tape and cut it and join it together with a tape. Now that doesn't happen anymore. You use computer, you just punch numbers, and you're good to go. So a lot has changed.
Okay, so you moved from broadcasting into legal?
I did law because usually when I get restless, I want to do something to improve myself, my mind, and so I thought, I think I would like to do law. So, and I didn't want to spend too much time. I didn't want to spend 4 years reading law. And the University of Buckingham had a 2-year program, but intensive, because you didn't have summer holidays, the 3-month summer holidays. No, you were in school. So I signed up for that, and I did law. And then you had to go to the law school to be able to practice law in Nigeria. So I went to the law school. I was called to the bar, and that was also very interesting.
Did you ever practice law?
Not full time, but I do agreements. I do property law. My first visit, as a law school student, you had to go to court. You had to spend some weeks in court. You also have to be attached to a particular law firm. I was attached to the late Ladna, Bola Adeshola's father, and he was a fantastic person to have as a mentor. But then I went to court one day, and they brought out these prisoners. They were not convicted yet. They were awaiting trial, I was told. And one of them was a living skeleton. I broke down and cried. I just started crying. I just couldn't stop crying. So I went back home and I said, I'm not going to do law because I will not go to court and see people like that. And it was really, really bad for me. But I understand that has changed now. Now you have the law in 24 hours. If you cannot charge the person to court, you're supposed to release them. So that's good. Everything has moved forward, so I'm happy about that. But I'm not practicing full time.
Okay, so it could have been any other, profession. But why did you choose law?
Law because apart from the fact that I like the wig and gowns, I also felt that law was one profession where you had to look at two sides of the story. I have been very many times totally misunderstood. People don't know me, but they think they do. And so I just felt that a profession that will make you look at both sides before you get a balanced opinion about something was a good profession to join, and that's why I did law.
You just said people don't know you, they think they do. In your own opinion, from your own perspective, who is Grace Egbagbe?
I'm just a simple, down-to-earth little girl at heart, old woman. And I believe that you live what you think. Most of my friends are younger people, both male and female. And that's because I see in them a childlike quality. Children take to me, I'll go into a house and see a child who has never seen me before, and the child will actually come to me. For me, that's something, because they see the hearts. They say that the children see the heart. And I can't deal with pretenses. There's so much pretense. I see a lot of pretense. You see somebody who will smile at this person. Oh, you are my hero, I love you. Person turns his back. That useless, I've seen it happen. And I can't understand why, if you don't like somebody, don't pretend to like them. If you don't like them, move on, ignore them. Don't let them think you like them when you don't like them. So for me, I just believe that I should be honest with myself first, and honest with whoever I deal with. And I try to do that, because that's one thing our daddy taught us, that you have to be honest and frank and try as much as possible to be a good person. And of course, nothing can happen in your life if you don't have God. And I think I'm the apple of God's eyes.
So looking back in time, is there anything you would have done differently?
No.
Really?
Nothing.
If you were to live life all over again, you live it just exactly how you have lived it?
Maybe even better than now, yes.
So what would have changed when you say better?
Better, I wouldn't have listened to what Mr. A or Mr. B thinks and stop me from doing something that I want to do, as long as it's not illegal or immoral. I wouldn't have, So.
Those times you trusted those people. It was trust, right?
Yes. And there's nothing as painful as having a friend that betrays your trust. Maybe next time I'll be more discerning, I'll be more careful in trusting. I trust like a child. I just trust people. But people often let you down, at least around here. But I've learned now it's very difficult to fool me now.
Are you kidding me? So what are the telltale signs? Please tell me. We know we are growing.
Telltale signs. There are none.
How do you decipher?
Well, you just, first of all, before you, okay, let's take business for instance. Before you enter into a business deal with somebody that you don't really know, find out their antecedents, talk to people who know them, find out where they have worked before, how did they do, because stories will go around. You know, somebody was saying on TV the other day that we need to get a system in place where if you are an offender, if you commit an offense in one state, you can't run to another state. Even if you change your name, you'll be caught because your fingerprints will show. Once it goes into the system, all your records are pulled up. I think when that happens, then it will be easy for you to know who not to do business with.
Have you had your heart broken before?
Oh, many times, but that's not going to happen again. I'm too wise now to have my heart broken. but I mean, come on, we are women, and every woman has had a heart broken before. Very few women find their true love on the first day, first relationship
date
they have. Yeah, it comes with the territory.
So how do you handle
I've
it?
broken a few too. I'm sorry to say, but yes,
you
I have.
have.
Oh, yes, I have.
Is it like a retaliation thing?
No, it's not. If it just doesn't work, or you don't like certain values about that the person has, your values have to be the same. Have to have the same values, and also the same, for me, the same religion. It doesn't have to be like, okay, it has to be the same, but you have to be a Christian. And I've had some Muslim friends who are very good people, very, very good people. So, but you have to have the same values. If you don't have the same values, then it's not going to work.
Now let's go to you as a mother. I mean, in fact, sometimes I look at you and I'm like, I mean, are you for real? How did you do it? You have grown-up kids and you're still looking this glamorous, this beautiful, this... In fact, I'm short of words.
I think I'm blushing already. I think I'm blessed. I really think I'm blessed. But then take a look at my mom. I just told you my mom was 86 last Easter. And my mom, she could wear my blouse. She wears my blouses.
Does it
and
run
my
in the
dad,
family?
I think it does. I think it's genetic. I really think it's genetic. My dad was a waist 32 because I used to buy him trousers. Yeah, so it's genetic.
So it's not diet, it's no exercise.
You don't want to know my eating habits. Absolutely disgusting.
Don't you? I'm your kid sister, and I need help. So please give
But
me
I
those
should.
tips.
There's something I'm not doing that I should be doing, and that is exercising. I really should exercise. I like to walk, and I used to walk down the streets. I'm just too lazy. I'm too lazy.
So what do you do?
Exercise. I'm
Share
too
it
lazy.
now.
But
Share it.
I'm telling you the truth. You don't believe me? Ask anybody who knows me. If you go out now, ask the people in my house, what time does auntie exercise? And they will look at you and say, exercise? I just don't. I know I should. I really know I should. But I do when I travel abroad. I walk a lot in the malls, looking at shops.
But what do you need exercise for if exercise is not doing...
To keep fit. And to stay healthy. My doctor says so.
Oh, your doctor. Okay, gospel according to your doctor.
Yes.
We'll keep that in view. But meanwhile, your tummy is still flat. I mean, after 2.
Don't you dare talk into my tummy, because my tummy is not flat.
How else do you want
this tummy? This
oh my
word!
This tummy look at my tummy. I look at her tummy.
Is it flat? And I'm not holding anything in, but it's not flat.
No,
I wish it was smaller.
Look at your own. Okay, talk now. Hit me.
But it's true. But it's I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. But you've known me for how long now?
Yes.
Okay, so you tell me the truth. If I've changed, I mean, at some point, one would, I used to be a size 8, US 8. I'm now a US size 12. Now, tell me that's not
don't look
good
it
enough.
anyway. All right, I want to ask you this question. Yes, you are a professional. You have done so much in broadcasting, and then you're also cutting so much. Her eyes are going this way. I see. What is she going to ask me next?
No, I'm ready.
All right, you're ready. So how do you juggle between being a mother and being a professional in terms of your career?
Good question. It was tough. If I tell you it was easy, I'll be lying. it was tough. But then I had support. I had family support. I had friends who helped out. I recall that my late father, whenever I traveled abroad, and that was one of the things that I loved working in NTA. Oh, I traveled the world with NTA. I was a juror in an international film festival, for instance, in Bulgaria, the then Bulgaria. And I used to travel every year for that. I used to go to Monte Carlo Film Festival every February for the film festival in Monte Carlo. And my kids were young. My dad used to be the one who would come and babysit. So I had him as a professional, and no babysitter could be better than your parent, as you know. I remember that when my son was, I think he was about 5 or 6, and he used to do this break dancing, and my dad was like, excuse me, why do you people dance like you have epilepsy? Do you know people have, he was in the medical field, so he should know. And my son would say, hey, what's that? My dad said, let me teach you how to dance. And then he will hold you and teach him waltz, how to waltz. And I remember that, and when I remember, it brings tears to my eyes. He was such a good man. Then also I had my siblings. My sister she was always with me, my youngest sister, and she used to look after my kids as well. So I had great support. If I didn't have them, I don't know how I would have coped.
So would you say you were a good mother?
I think I'm a fantastic mother.
I love
and you know why?
Roll your eyes.
Yes, because my kids tell me that. My kids tell me that I'm a great mother, and I think they're the greatest kids in the world. Every mother says their kids are the greatest, but truly, I am blessed with those 2 children. That doesn't mean they don't give me hassles. My daughter is stubborn. You've read some of her interviews in the papers. She's her own person. She's very independent-minded. My son is the adjudicator. He's the one that will tell you the right thing to do. If I want advice on anything, my son is the one to ask. So I have great kids, and I'm blessed. I'm thankful to God.
So where are they now?
They're doing whatever. They're working. They're working. My daughter, after, I know she's going to kill me for this, because I'm always saying to her, you should have just told me at the beginning that you want to be a photographer. She had a BSc in psychology, a BA in economics, 2 different majors, and then she comes back to Nigeria and decides that she wants to be a photographer. But I know when she was growing up, she used to draw a lot, and some of her paintings are really amazing. But now she does, photographs, like you can see. Everybody sees that photo and they think it's a painting. So she's really, talented, even if I say so myself. So I've allowed her to follow her dream, her passion. My son is in the finance. Well, he did finance, accounting, and management, and then he did his master's in public service administration, and he's and he did very well. He passed with merit from the London School of Economics, and he went to the University of Nottingham and also made a 2-1, and he went to Belabis and he was the best student that year. So I'm very proud of them. They've done very well.
Coming from your background as a broadcaster, most broadcasters are, they are withdrawn, they are introverts. They're
not withdrawn,
but
at all. You're not withdrawn.
I am.
Oh no, you're not Tekla. You are not withdrawn.
Auntie Grace, if there's one thing I wouldn't want to do is the way you have. I mean, you have come up really strong, and you're bold. I
think it's confidence.
To be different. Yes.
I think it's confidence, and I try to instill that in my kids as well when they were growing up. That if you have a view on something, say it nicely, firmly, but say it. Because there's no need in internalizing something and then, hurting, and then it builds up a lot of resentment, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. If you say it out, it goes. I just had a conversation with my daughter, and she's talking about the system, how the system should change, what has gone wrong for so long and all that. I say, okay, wait a minute. You're not an advisor here. Please don't stress me with what's wrong. I know what's wrong. It's how to fix it that we should be talking about.
Any plans to walk down the aisle any day?
Who, me?
Yes.
If I find the right man, yes. If I find the right man, yes.
So Auntie Grace is saying it, that if she finds the right man.
Oh yeah.
I was actually thinking maybe it's just a decision never to walk down the aisle.
How can anybody have such a decision?
Some people are very independent.
I am independent, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't want, to have a good husband. What I wouldn't settle for is to, and this is where society comes in, you have to be married to be, people have told me that, it's because I wasn't married that I wasn't made this or that. That is a whole lot of rubbish. I know people who are married and they are very unhappy.
Miserable, yeah.
Miserable. I cannot stand being unhappy for one day. It's in my DNA. I'm a happy person. I grew up happy. I grew up loving life, dancing. Life is for the living. So I cannot one day stay in an unhappy marriage. So why go into a marriage unless you are 80% sure that the person is the right person? People push, and my kids have told them, don't let anybody push you into a marriage that you're not ready for. When you're ready, when you meet the right person, you will know. You just know. It just happens, you will know. And pray about it so that God will send you the right person. And when He sends the right person, you will know, and then you'll marry. And then hopefully you'll have a happy marriage and have kids and,
be happy.
Because, single motherhood is not easy. And I don't wish it on anybody. It's not easy at all. But the alternative is not an option. Not at all.
I love you,
I love you too. Thank you.
So, who is the man? What's the kind of man you're looking for? Who's that man of your dream, I would say?
First of all, he has to have a visible means of livelihood. Even if he did invest well and has money, he has to be somebody that I can look up to and respect. There has to be that respect. And he has to be a man who is ready to provide for his family. It's a natural thing. A man should look after his home. So I will not marry a man whom I have to feed. But if he does his job as a good husband and somewhere along the line he falls onto bad times, and that can happen, then I will step in, and help. But I want somebody who would be a father to the many children I have. I don't have only two. I only have 2 biological children, but I have lots and lots of children that I'm looking after and who look up to me. So, yes, if I find such a man, I will marry him. And if he asks me, yes, I will marry him.
What about love?
Will any man want to do that if he didn't love you or if you didn't love him?
There are marriages of convenience.
Then that's not a marriage, it's a marriage of convenience.
Okay.
I'm talking about a marriage as stipulated in the Bible, and there are verses in the Bible that tells you how a man should treat his wife and how a woman should also treat her husband. So when you have a man that loves you and that you love, then marriage will be on the books. And it's something that is so easy. If you love somebody, there's some things that you just do because you love them.
Will I be invited for that great day?
For the wedding, find the man first.
Me, find the man, or you?
Didn't take like you're nuts. You're nuts. You're nuts. And then there's somewhere somebody has told me that men get intimidated by me, and I said, why? I don't have horns on my head, and I certainly don't have fangs to, I'm just a normal person. But I'm strong. I know I have a strong personality. But then, you don't, I said this to a friend and he almost cracked up. I said, you don't put Volkswagen money in your pocket and start going to a Mercedes showroom to look at the Mercedes car. When I said that, he laughed. He understood where I was coming from. But he says to me, if you say that to some other people, they'll misunderstand you and think you're talking about financial. But this is the reality. Will I marry a man who has no job, who has no home over his head? He will move into my home that I spent so many years building? Hell no.
You have your moments. There are moments when you're all with you. I won't say alone, because you can be alone and not be lonely, and you can be lonely and not be alone.
True.
There's a difference, a clear-cut difference
between
those two.
Yes,
so which category do you fall into?
Oh, I just, in the last few years, started enjoying my own company. I used to like friends around me a lot. So I invite us, they will come, we'll drink and chat. But what went out after that taught me that not all that glitters is gold, because people come and, but what I do now, I go to the movies. I love watching movies. Then I read and I listen to music. And of course I watch TV. So sometimes I'm alone, but I'm not alone. And then I have my kids, wherever they are in the world, they're always calling me, talking to me. I just had like a 1 hour conversation with my daughter because she's away. And my son talks to me like 100 times a day. I hope he won't stop when he hears this, but I love to speak to him because he wants to, Mommy, what's up? And I'm like, okay, nothing. How are you doing? Are you okay? And it's nice, Maybe that's why not having a husband is not something I miss so much, because I have a guy, my son, who calls me all the time, finds out how I am. I don't know how many men have time for to do that. And it's so important. And knowing women, all you want to know is that somebody is thinking about you. Somebody cares enough to know how you're doing at every stage of the way and every moment of the day.
But how?
It's a nice feeling.
How have you coped? Really, because people go through those phases and they are in bits and pieces. But you're all together. I really don't. How have you coped?
Because I have God. I keep saying that I'm not a very religious person. I'm just a normal person who believes that there's a higher being that orders our lives, and that if you trust and try to do the right thing as he tells us to, you'll be a happy person. And the key, and this is very important, the key to happiness is contentment. If you're content, then you're okay. Most people have problems when they want what they can't have, or they want what the other person has and they can't have, so it becomes a problem. Once you're content with what you have, and all you need to do is start by counting your blessings. First of all, you are alive, you are well, you have people around you who really love you. You know that you can bank on your children's love, on your mother's love. If you have that, what else do you need?
You mentioned earlier when we were talking about single parenthood, you mentioned that there are moments, there are challenging moments. Would you like to share that with us?
No, the challenging moments were when they were growing up and you couldn't be with them because you were at work, and work always came first. Because if you didn't work, you wouldn't have enough money, to look after them. So that was challenging. And I remember once my brother, God bless him, John, had to go to see my kids went to Adesoye College. They did their first secondary school in Adesoye College, which is 3 hours away in Ofa. And he has to go to Ofa when I couldn't go. And he said when he walked in, they set out tables in the picnic area, and my daughter was, "Where's my mom?" And he said, "Oh, Mommy couldn't come." She burst into tears. When I heard that broke my heart. And so I tried as much as possible, to go when they had visiting day, but it was difficult. And then my son, thank God his dad would go. A few times his dad went when I couldn't go, so that helped. I was abroad, and I think they had the first visiting day, and then the 10th anniversary of the school. I couldn't go, he went, so that helped.
I want to ask you this question. There are times when you've had several interviews, you've spoken about it yourself a lot. I want to challenge you by telling me something you haven't told anybody. Share that with us. Let it be our moment.
Well, if I haven't told anybody that, and I've had, God knows, hundreds of interviews, then it means there's nothing to hide. There's nothing that, because I would have told somebody.
It may not
something.
necessarily be something you're hiding. It may just something that didn't really come up.
I can't think of anything. You have asked all the questions that
Is
possible ever. I can't think of anything. Okay, that I eat pounded yam at 10 p.m. at night sometimes when I'm really hungry with egusi soup, which is my favorite.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You haven't told
I don't like to say that because even my doctor will get upset if I eat about pounded yam at 10 p.m. at night, sometimes 11 p.m.
But you're getting away with it nicely.
Well, thank God for that. Maybe that's why I do it, but I'll stop now. I really... I have to start exercising.
So what are your beauty tips?
Beauty tips.
How do you keep this young?
I sleep.
Apart from your body, the DNA thing you talked about,
Mm.
what is it you do?
I get my 8 hours sleep. Sometimes I get 10 hours sleep. And it's nice when you're retired. Again, my kids are upset with me because they say, Mommy, okay, 28 years in NTA and you can still do so much. But all you do is just sleep and wake up when you like. I said, but that in itself is blissful. Let me just, I could go to bed at 2 a.m. but I could also wake up at 2 p.m. the next day. Mm. So I get my 8 hours of sleep, minimum.
Speaking of retirement, what do you do these days now that you don't have the...
Wouldn't you like to know? Waking up at... I need to wake up early in the morning because I don't know how you guys do.
In fact, when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Oh, but I paid my dues.
No.
NTA, it wasn't easy. My God. But the traveling made it fun because, when you travel, that helps. You learned a lot from other cultures and other peoples, and it was nice.
So what do you do now?
What I do
Since
now,
you have all the time,
like I said, I'm working on something. I'm working on some projects,
okay.
but I'm not going to talk about them.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Well, Auntie Grace, as I'll call you, I secretly call you Graceful Grace because you have graced the red carpets, you've graced our screens, you've graced our hearts, and
thank you. I was just going to say, I hope I have graced your hearts.
You have, and it's been an honor, having you on Saturday night, especially now that we are home. I mean, it's been graceful.
Thank you so much.